Okay, in this one, it gives you only two Canadian cities. One is Vancouver, one is Toronto. Why they only give you two? That's right, because these two are Cathay Pacific hubs. Okay, one Cathay Pacific flies only to Hong Kong and Vancouver, non-stop flight. Okay, but does it mean I cannot travel to other parts of Canada? It does not, because it applies to anywhere in Canada. The fare itself, look at this price. This price are only the price to Vancouver and to Toronto. But if your clients want to come into Ottawa, can they? Absolutely they can. It doesn't say only to Vancouver, but not this price anymore. It's going to be what? This price plus an add-on price, which means Toronto to Ottawa, round trip add-on. Make sense? So this one is only the price to Vancouver and to Toronto. If you want to go beyond other cities into Canada, you have to add an add-on. Okay? So that's how this works. So again, each city, there is a 6 months maximum stay there and a 1 year maximum stay there. And of course, which one is more expensive? 1 year one is more expensive, right? You can tell. You say, for example, we use Saigon. Saigon, they actually have 3, 6, and 1. Right? And you see the price is getting higher and higher. The longer maximum stay, the higher the price is. Makes sense? And another thing we want to look is that, you see, same thing, Saigon. You fly round trip to Vancouver, it's $17.47. But if you fly to Toronto, how much is it now? $25.50. Because again, from Hong Kong to Vancouver, it's much closer than Hong Kong to what? Toronto. So it is more expensive to fly into East Coast. Okay? So that's another way. And then we are also going to look at round trip and one way. So basically, you can travel one way for this fare. You can buy just one-way ticket. For example, I can buy one-way ticket from Beijing to Ottawa for my mom. That's it. And then if you travel one way, you look at the one-way price. One-way price. Okay? So here we go. And sometimes the one-way does not apply. Okay, so you just have to look carefully. And here, that's a booking code. Depending on maximum stay, the booking code is different. So to Toronto, go this one. And I want you to highlight that one. In the bracket after Toronto, routing via Vancouver not permitted. What does this mean is, if you want to fly into Toronto, you cannot do this. Hong Kong to Vancouver, Vancouver to Toronto. You can't. You must fly Hong Kong to Toronto non-stop flight. That's what it means. Make sense? Okay. And here, you see, that's all the cities. I'm not going to go into each one. Your job is depending your client's itinerary and use a ruler or a piece of paper. Look for the departure city first, then look for which maximum stay. If your client only stay for 2 months, then you don't use 1 year. You waste the money, right? Okay. Then you look for, do they fly into Vancouver hub or Toronto hub? Okay. Then if they use Vancouver hub, you look at this side. Okay. Again, you look for is a one-way or round trip. So this is how you find the fare. Make sense? Okay. So that's page 1. And here, from these cities, these are the cities in China, they have a little bit different rule. The dates applies to March 1st and June 30th, and that's a price. Okay, that's a price. And here, this one is from Canton. This is another city. Again, do you need to know all these cities? Absolutely not. What you need to know is, when I give you the itinerary, I give you the code, then you need to look for the code. Then go each line, look at the price. Make sense? Okay. So here we go. That's for another city. Sorry. Next one is last city is FOC. Have a 3 months and 6 months fare. One way round trip from Vancouver or Toronto. Okay? So now you know the fare. Again, those fares are only to Vancouver and Toronto. If you go beyond those cities, top cities, you need to add price for add-on. So now let's see what are the add-on price. So for this ones, these are talking about what are the applicable flights. We are not going to go in that detail, so you can cross this out. You can cross this out, okay? The only thing is same booking code for the entire journey, okay? This one you might want to highlight. But for the flight application, you can cross it out. We don't go that detail. But this one is the main part. Main part. Remember I explained about the add-on, right? Because technically this contract applies to all over Canada. But Cathay Pacific only has 2 hubs, to Vancouver and to Toronto. They give you those prices. But what if you travel all sides of these countries? They need to pay extra, which is add-on, okay? So here, Canada domestic add-on on either Air Canada or WestJet, which means you can choose Air Canada or WestJet for the add-on. So these are the cities. If you travel to Calgary, Edmonton, how much do you pay extra? $150 each way. And if it's round trip, $300. But if you do Winnipeg, you pay $300 each way. Makes sense, right? Which one is further? Winnipeg is further, right? But look at this. They use Vancouver Gateway. Why do they use Vancouver Gateway? That's right, because Vancouver is closer. You don't want to fly all the way to east and going back west, right? Doesn't make sense. So you want to jump into Vancouver first and keep going east so you don't waste fuel. That's it. Besides, flying to Vancouver is cheaper, right? You're not going to fly into Toronto, pay more, and then add on. But when you are traveling to East Coast, then you cannot use Vancouver anymore. You have to use what? Toronto. So basically, you fly from Asia or wherever to Hong Kong to Toronto. Then that's the price, right? Then you add on. So how much does it cost more for us flying to Ottawa? It's $100 more each way. Okay? Then Montreal the same, and Halifax takes a little more, $250 because it's further. Make sense? So this one only gives you what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only give you 6 cities because these are the major cities, most population. So that's what they give you. So that's the price. And we talk about the price, but also the booking code. Because your job is to read the rule and make the bookings on Apollo. So you need to find a flight, and you need to know which booking class do I book. Do I do cell 1 Y1 or cell 1 V1 or cell 1 H1? So it tells you, if you use Air Canada, you book which class. If you use WestJet, you can book any of this. Okay? So that's what it means. This one I want you to highlight. Combination of Air Canada and WestJet is not permitted. What does it mean? You can't say, outbound I'm traveling Ottawa to Toronto with Air Canada. Inbound I'm traveling Ottawa to Toronto with WestJet. No, they are not friends. Air Canada and WestJet are not friends. Okay, they're competitors, so they can't be on the same ticket. So that's basically what it means. Make sense? That's an add-on. Okay, that's an add-on. Rules and conditions. So now let's see which ones are the important ones we're gonna pay attention to. Number 1, fare application. That's a good one. The departure date of the first Cathay Pacific Trans-Pacific sector determines the fare for the entire journey. So basically, the first Trans-Pacific one. Okay. The queues, we don't worry about it. Reservation, we don't worry about it. And the fare basis code, fare basis we're talking about from origin to Hong Kong, you use Y class, plus from Hong Kong to Canada. These are the booking code. Minimum maximum stay, we talked about it. Stopover, I want you to highlight. That's important because it affects big time about the pricing. Outbound journey, not permitted between point of origin and the Canada gateway. What does it mean? For example, I give you the itinerary. I'm paying my mom from Beijing to Hong Kong to Toronto to Ottawa. That's my outbound flight. Okay? So now, for example, this is a ticket I bought, right? But my question is, am I allowed to book a stopover in Hong Kong for my mom? Yes or no? No, because what? Not permitted between point of origin. What is point of origin? Beijing. And to where? Canada. Cathay Pacific Canada Gateway. It's here. So between here and here, which is Hong Kong, you are not allowed for stopover, for outbound, right? So can I do a stopover for my mom in Hong Kong? Not on the outbound. Okay, that's what it means. The gateway on the except for Australia, those places. If they are from Australia, then they are allowed. Okay, but from Beijing, inbound journey. That's will be interesting. Permitted no charge in Hong Kong, and at the specific Cathay Canada Gateway. Okay, so that's outbound. Then inbound, I'm doing this. Same thing. Now, my question is, can my mom visit Hong Kong, stopover? Yes, you can do it now. Because inbound is okay. And it's what? Free of charge. And another one, can I stop over for a couple days to visit the same tower? Again, $0, no problem. For some reason, they won't let you do for outbound, just inbound. Don't know why.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I don't know why they won't allow you to do that. Okay, but you know what we can do? We just have to adjust our itinerary accordingly, right? In order to make it happen. Okay, and so here we go. Child fare, infant fare, we don't go in detail. Combination with this one, don't worry about CAN, it's kind of another fare type or rule. Upsell, not applicable. Open job, this one. Single open job, we're permitted using half of each round trip net fare with applicable boarding class. So, single open job is allowed. So, can I do this? Because what I'm going to do is, my mom comes here, and I take my mom to Toronto. No, sorry, here, there's one. Okay, find a destination. Then, visit or stay a couple months in Ottawa. Then I said, well, I'm taking my mom to the Banff, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to drive my mom. No, it's boring. I'm going to fly myself to Banff, okay, to Calgary. Then I stay there for a couple of days. Then I fly actually from Calgary to Vancouver to Hong Kong. Can I do that? Sorry, what's that? You love to do that?
I would love to drive.
Driving from Ottawa to Calgary?
Yeah. I like road trips.
What? That's very long and very boring.
I'm boring. I love
Not
road
trip.
trips.
Oh my god. Most people, what they do is they fly to Calgary and drive from Calgary to Vancouver, because that segment is more scenery, right? But this part is really long, crossing the Ontario. Boy, Okay, good for you. Next time you do that, give me a call. I'm just thinking. Okay. So anyway, so it is possible, right? It's possible. So again, why do I do this? Again, I want to make the best experience for my client, right? To give them more suggestions according to the rule. If it allows, why don't I design like this, right? So one-way permitted. Can I just buy one-way ticket for my mom coming here? Absolutely, that's fair. Prepaid. This one we talked about that, right? Prepaid. What does it mean? Overnight hotel, none provided. This is pretty mean, okay? So if you have a long layover in Hong Kong, too bad, so sad, no free hotel. And service charge, we know that, okay? Change and cancellation, this is important. What in terms of change, in terms of cancellation, how much is a penalty, how much is a refund, okay? So wholly used ticket, partially used ticket, change outbound, and change inbound. Okay, so that's easy to understand. So I'm not going to go into detail. Okay. So make sense for this one? Does it make sense? This one for the Australia, Cathay Pacific from Asia to Canada. Okay, so this one can be one way, can be return, can be from Vancouver, can be from Toronto. Again, you must apply the correct fare depending on your itinerary. Which hub do you use? Which maximum and minimum maximum stay do you use? One way or return? Do you have any add-on? Okay, so that's good. And again, this one is in your final exam. Okay. So perfect. Now we basically finished all the fare sheet. Last class we talked about Europe and Middle East. This week we talk about Asia and South Pacific. Again, these two classes is all about the contract, fare sheet. Okay? So now we're going to talk about the final exam review before we do the workshop. First of all, good news. Final exam is not cumulative. Not at all. What does it mean? Is that only going to be from week 12, week 13, and week 14. That's it. Still longer than previous two exams compliant? That's a joke. Okay? No, it's not. Okay? It's not. Okay?
I'm like really scared for that.
So final exam, good news, is not accumulative. Okay? So that doesn't mean it's easier than before. I'm just saying it's not accumulative. Next one.
Why all the memes?
No. Final exam, no multiple choice at all. There's no multiple choice at all. Okay? No multiple choice. So, which means no codes. You don't have to study codes at all. Okay? No codes. I don't know why. Do you think multiple choice is easier?
It's just not in your class.
Good one, not in your class. Okay, so no multiple choice. So let's see what's going to be in the final exam. Final exam will be 30%, okay, big chunk. And all short answer questions. There's no multiple choice at all. All case studies. All case studies. So each case study has one fare sheet. I'm going to tell you which 4 fare sheets you will study. And based on that 4 cases. And similar to the case study, remember, when did we do a case study? We only did one case study. Last week, right? Which case study? Remember, we're going to the family of 4, they're white. Going to Dubai and Jeddah for Hajj, right one? So that one, I'm telling you right now, they are in the final exam. That case study is in the final exam. Okay, that case study. So go back to the PowerPoint and study that one. Is in the final exam. And I can tell you now, it's not a 4 people anymore. Single mom this time. Okay, it's a one parent with one child and one infant, I believe. Okay, not three, not four. It's three this time. Okay, so again, remind you, no multiple choice, all short answer questions. Good news or bad news, I don't know. Okay, I would say it's good news because what? If you understand the fair sheet, if you understand all the exercise, you can do really, really well for the final exam. Okay, so that's it. Only four case studies. So which four? Oh my God, 4 or 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay, these four contracts are in your final exam. Gulf Air. Go back to your printout, see whether you have it. Remember those 2 pages? Hodge, Gulf Air, Hodge 2013 Fair. That case study is based on this, right? So that's one question. Number 2, Japan Airline, Toronto, Ottawa to Australia. I believe we talked about today, right? That's number 2. Number 3, Western Canada to Asia. I believe this one is in the case study. Oh no, in the hybrid lesson. Okay? And Cathay Pacific Airway, China, South Pacific. This one I just explained, right? So these 4 are in your final exam. Okay? This one is on Blackboard. This fair sheet. Now, how do you prepare for the final exam? If you want to get good mark, how do you prepare? Week 12, remember we only cover not the cumulative, so basically only week 12, week 13. So week 12, last class, we did case study, family of 4, white. And white, okay, because that's the only way I say you can remember which case study.
I just say like the creepy family.
And then week 12 workshop. Okay, we did workshop last class. And week 12 hybrid lesson. In the beginning of class, I explained to you. Okay, I explained to you how to do it. And week 13 today in class case study. Did we do case study today?
No.
No, we didn't. Okay, cross it out. It's on it. And the week 13 workshop we will do after the week. I go through this one. And hybrid lesson is on Blackboard. Okay? And so all of them. How do you prepare? Study really well. Understand. Strategy. How do you get ready? Because this is overwhelming. Involves itinerary, involves pricing. What is strategy? Strategy, get a study group. Your friends, your classmates, your role play partner, or whatever. Get somebody to study with you. Okay? Form a study group and go through all the fair sheet together. Ask each other questions. Scenario. Okay? The case study I gave to you is going to Paris, going to Dubai. Maybe in the test, rather than Paris, I say going to Frankfurt, going to Amman. Well, cited. Okay? Then how much is it? Study the workshop, hybrid lessons. Again, when I say study, you must do it yourself. I'm telling you right now, I give you the answer key. Some students say, oh, this makes sense. Oh, this makes sense. Well, they all make sense. But when you are doing it, nothing makes sense. So you must do it yourself. And then look at the answer key. Then say, oh, this is wrong. Why is wrong? I did give you explanation. Okay? Go through the case study. Remember, again, I'm not going to say which study. It's that one, too harsh. Okay, that one is in the final. How many times I emphasize that one? Okay. Quite a lot. Okay, so this are how do you prepare for it. Okay. So that's for this one. Make sense? So you know what's going to be in the final exam? How do you study? Okay. Any question about the final exam? Yes?
Are we going to go through like the workshops and hybrid exercises next week?
Good question. Here we go. Next slide. Oh, final, that's the slide after. Final exam, the date, the classroom, 2 hours. Your question is, first of all, week 13 hybrid. Okay, that's on Blackboard. You need to do it and look at the answer key, okay? Now, I'm gonna answer your question next class. We don't teach anything new next class. Here are the things we will do. Number one, I need that certificate. How many of you have already done? Good. If you haven't done, do it before next class. If you don't know how to get it done, don't ask me. Okay? Don't ask me. And ask somebody else, okay? Because I already explained in class. And so next class, I needed certificate. No later than that next class. If you don't give it to me, you get 0. Yes?
Is it all of them combined with 5% or is it just that one?
Just that one. Just that one. Just that certificate, okay? And goes next class, what they're gonna do. First thing, you come in, I collect those certificates, get 5%. Then I'm going to go through week 12 and week 13 hybrid exercise. Okay? Again, I remind you, don't think when I go through it, you don't have to do it yourself. Again, if you leave everything to the last minute, you depend on me to explain it, then you will have a big surprise in the final exam. You must do it yourself. It's a final exam, no multiple choice. That doesn't mean it's any easier. It's a case study. Remember all the itinerary I gave to you? Depending on the itinerary, you look at the price, you answer the questions, and I will answer the question for the final exam next class after I go through all the answers. Okay, so if when you are doing exercise, something you don't understand, after I go through those hybrid lessons, you still have questions about workshop, about the contract, then that's the time for me to answer your questions, to get you ready for the final. Okay? So that's for the final exam. Okay, make sense? Still any questions? No? And again, if you have any question, send me email, bring to next class. Okay? I'm here to help you. So now we're gonna do the workshop. Okay? Workshop, again, similar with last class, you need to do as a team. 2 people work together, must be perfect. You bring it here, I check, if it's not perfect, go back and do it again. Then until it's perfect, then you get 5%. Okay? Which 2? Two. Reform group. 2. Okay. You 2. And you want to do this? Who wants to? Okay, sure. Okay. Patricia, you want to work with sorry, what's something? Corey. Corey. Okay, excellent. Sorry? Yeah, it tells you. Yeah. The second one.
Is that the one that you're supposed to print off with the
Yeah.
That one.
from Canada?
Okay, so this is a Blackboard. Yeah, the first fair sheet might be on Blackboard. I don't think I printed for you. So you might need your laptop to access the first one. If you don't have it, I will open this here. Okay? Is that Cathay Pacific to South? This one? Yeah. Oh. This one, you need to open your laptop and it's on Blackboard.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Corey, I don't think it's on yours yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Did you guys bring laptop?
No.
None of you? Okay.